This is my poem, Job's Complaint. It seeks to answer the very difficult question as to why there are natural disasters and why God doesn't intervene to prevent them. After all, we don't seem to have anything to learn from so-called acts of God. The voice of Job cries out to heaven, "What have I done? There's no just cause for all my liability to suffer earthquake, hurricane, and tectonic eruption. Why must my best laid plans all end up in futility? I'm plagued and starved and threatened by corruption, and after my set time by prospect of senility." The voice of God replies to Job, "Mark well these words, my son. You've no just case against me, for you have no idea of what I've already done. For all my folk who live beneath the rainbow gay, which is my favour's pledge to all humanity, your notion of what by physics law must come is based on what you see from day to day. But this is full of my preventive action. How will you then renormalize my grace away? If I were reticent in giving benediction, the state of things would be much more awry." Now Job retorts in flaming woe, "It would be hard to bear if only sinners came to such calamity, but often it's the just and kind who suffer. This seems to me a great profanity. You exploit the innocent for sport. Not content with their civility, you love to see their red blood spurt. Delighting in their vulnerability, you shoot your barbs and cut their sad lives short." God makes response with kindly sense. "But pain and death are not as bad as they may seem, for there's a life beyond the grave. I take no pleasure in what makes you sad. It is my will to prosper you and save you from all ill. I have no need for entertainment of that kind, or any other. I want you to succeed, and in this wondrous world to find much joy. My business is for you to learn to tell what's good from what is not, and my unfeigned respect to earn. Moral hazards necessary if your sort is ever to exceed what's natural, and so be worthy of the life eternal." But Job is not remotely satisfied and shouts, "You say that we must learn to tell what's right from wrong and find out the upshot of our agency. But the actions of which my feeble tongue makes its sincere complaint are thine, O God inscrutable, not mine. What am I supposed to learn from them? It seems at best that you don't care, for if you did, you'd intervene to stop them taking effect where the innocent would elsewise suffer, if you were at all just and fair." God answers Job most patiently. An option's risk being understood. If you take it, then that's your doom. Choose active fault line as your neighbourhood, or else the shadow or volcanic cone, or plateau scoured often by tornadoes, or shore which tsunamis frequent. Then you must accept all of those outcomes which flow, or else repent. The evils of which you make moan are not my acts intentional, but certain and most sure outcome of cosmic rule conventional, which solid holds the world as one. I must not subsidize your folly, for then you could not learn. The preservation of your autonomy, which is a great and glorious good, requires that I am resolute and stern. This of my business is foundational. The repent of it I now would, were making man divine not my whole goal. A final point Job pleads with God. You should at least the ignorant show pity, averting dangers of which they don't know. If they are unaware that their fair city sits on a crack that's fit to make it rock and roll, or have no clue their scenic mount is filled with magma, and so soon with pumice and with flame will fount, and like a lanced carbuncle spume, then you should rein back every law, for they're secure only as far as you allow. You are able to act for the innocent, if for them you do care, as you claimed when challenged after your first supper by your dear friend, before the fiery doom on Sodom and sad Gomorrah was cast down. Then the innocent you saw, and you did a good while forbear. God then replies from the gyre of his grace, if the volcano's blast ne'er hurt those who knew not its power to harm, and I always shielded the ignorant, this would discourage the naive to learn. Ish and Ishar were secured in Eden by my strict pedagogy of their innocence. But to explore beyond that narrow glen, they had to taste experience. If things were not how they are now, you'd have no reason, truth, to know. The more that you came to see how things work and did in wisdom grow, grasping the designs of the world, the less you would be able to rely on my sure aid as being curled up in my gentle arms safely. No sooner than you realized this fact, you'd seek out that knowledge no more which your first paradisial state had lacked, but rather your naivety you would try to restore. This would undo human autonomy and worthy self-respect, and it's an outcome which I hope you'll see I rightly do reject.